Okay. This is one I actually saw earlier that Farfa did. And so I wanted to take a look at it because I disagreed with Farfa a lot. So first off, a word? No, a word is not one. Bot died, really? Oh, the bot died. Oh no, collar, mouse, and you're you're a mouse are actually redeems. Or are actually ats and the bot just stopped working. Here, let me try. Oh, yep, it's back. Okay, if I'm honest. Okay, let's start with the, like, basic shit, right? So, we'll start in order of introduction. So, actually, no, Fusion came before Gemini summoning, that's right. Synchro came after, then Xyz, then, oh no, Ritual came, is over here too. Then Pendulum. I keep on forgetting that Flip has been in since the very beginning of the game. Normal summon Alistair, tier 0. No. See, the way you've got to think about it. Is, how long has this been in the game, and how long has it been relevant, and how relevant is it today? So, normal summoning is really good. Like, it's been around for such a long time. It's got to be either A or S tier. It's so, like, normal summons are so powerful. But consider that there are a lot of decks, like Drytron, that for a long time didn't even use a normal summon. Until its most recent hit, Drytron didn't even use their normal summon. I remember Shadal used to not use their normal summon either. There are a lot of decks that just don't need them. And the normal summon has gotten more and more vulnerable as time has gone on. But it is still incredibly powerful. All normals get negated since the beginning of time. Since Trap Hole and shit. Yeah, fair. But normal summons have just gotten stronger over time, but they have become more vulnerable. So, like, Konami makes even stronger and stronger normal summons. But there are so many easy ways to counter a normal summon. And there are so many decks that no longer need a normal summon. At Nightbot following. Rez is a mouse is not a Twitch channel. Alright, let's see. Flip Summon. Flip Summon is probably the opposite story of normal summons. Flip Summons started off, like, way up here. Like, S tier shit. Like, Sangan, fucking, Eater of, Man-Eater Bug, Magician of Faith. These cards were, like, fucking, oh, thank you for the follow, D Galaxy, or XD Galaxy. These were, like, like meta-defining cards at the very beginning of, Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays, Flip's kinda bad. Like, the only good Flip deck is really Subterror, and Subterror isn't really good. Shadal's kinda a Flip deck, and Shadal is decent. Why am I getting DMs? Shadal's, like, okay. I'd say. Disagreeing with, disagreeing. Oh my god, Coda, you didn't need to do that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Coda, for the 1,000 bits. Holy shit. What do you think of this Yu-Gi-Oh thing? I'll check it in a moment. Hold up. Okay, I know that I'm disagreeing a little bit. That I'm kind of agreeing at the moment, but okay, they are at least better than better than some of the other mechanics that are even worse. It's just that, like, Flip has gotten weaker over time. Tribute summoning at the... Okay, tribute summoning in the very beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was really good. Then Synchro happened. Oh, well, no. Yeah, actually. Then Synchro happened. And who the fuck is tribute summoning in Synchro? If we're honest. Who is tribute summoning in Synchro? So that takes it down a few pegs, obviously, because it wasn't good then. Then, we do have to acknowledge that Monarch came out... How many summoning mechanics later? 1, 2, 3... 3 summoning mechanics later. A tribute deck came that was good, and it was Monarchs. And Monarchs did not stay tier 1 for very long, but they did have a worthy competitor. Or a worthy successor in the future, in the likes of True Draco, which I guarantee you would still be a rogue threat if we did not have both Masterpiece banned and Diagram limited. So considering that True Draco is a deck that exists and is still fucking busted and has to have 3 cards, 1 banned and 2 limited to make the deck not playable. And they had 3 limited at one point with Return just getting off the ban list. And with Flunder on the horizon, I think it's safe to say that Tribute is actually good. I mean, at the moment, perhaps not, but that could all be changed on a single ban list if they fuck with if they fuck with True Draco a little bit. If they actually give us like Dynamite or Masterpiece or Diagram back in a meaningful way. You probably noticed that this is the main disagreement I have with Farfa, I think. Fusion! Fusion best summoning mechanic? No, God no. Fusion is an interesting one. Fusion started off as one of the worst mechanics Yu-Gi-Oh! Had ever made. It required you to neg intensely to make a unusable card. And then for a long time just kind of floundered in irrelevancy. And then decks like Shadal came out that used Fusion in an interesting and unique way. Cards like Super Polymerization existed and were used to remove cards from the meta. Or remove cards from the field using your opponent's field. Could I have a link to the tier list? I will send you one, yes. And then we get to today, and we do have quite a few meta fusion decks. We've got cards like decks like Alistair, or archetypes like Invoked, Shadal, technically Eldritch, all of which using fusion. The scale of fusion monsters have improved over time, and it looks to be that they are still improving, and they are finding more and more ways to make up for the cost and to cheat fusions onto the field. If I'm honest, fusion is probably at the moment B tier. It's incredibly splashable in a lot of different decks, but fusion isn't carrying the weight of those decks in anything other than Shadal Invoked. Fusion is an engine rather than the reason you're playing the deck. It's good, and it will be good for a long time to come. And in the future, you can expect Fusion to be somewhere over here. Definitely not up here, but somewhere over here. There's always just the limit on Fusion of getting the Fusion spell and getting the materials. That's the problem. The only reason that Alistair and Invoked is good is because you don't have to worry about that. Alistair is not allowed at a Fusion summoning reunion party. Ritual, ritual, ritual. Ritual right now is as good as Ritual's ever gonna be. If I'm 100% honest with you, Ritual is as good as it is ever gonna be. It is, it's not even that amazing, right? It's just barely meta at the moment. It's carried by a lot of cards that probably should have never been printed. But at the same time, it is quite good. So, there's that. You don't even use levels. Not anymore. The problem is like... The problem is now that I'm out of water. I'll have to go get more to redeem that. I'll probably just give you your points back, Foolish Red Eyes. The problem with Fusion, or the problem with Ritual at the moment is you've got to get both the Ritual monster and the Ritual spell. This is the same problem that we had with Fusion. But the only way Ritual's ever been good is when you're kind of cheating with Necros and Drytron. And even then, they had to reinvent the mechanic to make those decks good. Yozoyo Ranger, thank you for the raid. Holy shit. Let me real quick get a shout out. Oh, thank you for the thank you for that, Shuya. I think Ritual has potential in the future. I just think at the moment, like, Ritual is just... They've floundered so many opportunities that, I don't know. It's just not worth it. I will say that it is still better than Flip. Because Drytron is meta right now, and the best Flip deck in the game is Subterror. Howdy, howdy. Nice to see you, Yozoi Ranger. Rituals are so bad, Lynx took their color. Exactly. Someone asked a question in Discord, by the way. Yeah. I'll look at the video in a bit. I noticed that there was a question. Let's see. Gemini! Did you do this because of Farfa? Yeah, I did this because of Farfa. I saw that and I was like, there are some things here that I disagree with. Gemini's bad. Gemini will never be good. Gemini's so bad. Normal summon, then normal summon again a turn later. It's very funny that they had to make shortcuts to their own effects and completely busted effects to give them extra normal summons just to make Gemini good. When they could have just printed cards that weren't Gemini monsters to begin with. And now we're getting into more of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! With Synchro. Synchro's pretty fucking good, honestly. Synchro's, like, really fucking good. Even if at the moment we don't see a lot of decks playing Synchro monsters, Synchro's pretty fucking good. Like, all things considered. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. Hold up. Let me get through this part and then I'll do it. All things considered, Synchro completely changed the landscape of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not quite as much as something like, say, Xyz did, but I will say that Synchro, as a mechanic, has lasted the test of time in comparison to Xyz. Xyz is really good, but the fact that you have a limited number of uses on those effects, whereas a Synchro monster has unlimited uses, usually tends to make the Synchro monster better in the long run. I will put Xyz on the same rank just because Xyz was a more versatile form of that. It made decks that couldn't play because they didn't have tuners really easy. It's just really easy to splash Xyz into decks as well. If your deck has 2 monsters with the same level, it can make an Xyz monster. I will say, though, while most people will put Synchro below Xyz, I'm putting it on the same tier as Xyz simply because there is a trade-off between being able to use an effect an unlimited number of times but having a harder summoning condition, and an easier summoning condition but having a limited number of times that you can use it. That's why I rank them at the same point. They are also just easier to summon than something like a ritual monster or a fusion monster. There's no, like, doubting that. Pendulum. Pendulum, pendulum, pendulum. Oh, how the pendulum swings. This was a mechanic that in its inception was abso-fucking-lutely busted. My god, Pendulum was a broken mess. But, nowadays, not what it used to be. But I take umbrage with the people that say that Pendulum is on par with something like Flip or, Ritual. It's at the very least on par with Fusion. It's miles better than Ritual, and it's miles better than something like Ritual or Flip. Very much agreed with the Xyz. Oh god, I'm still confused with Pendulum. Yeah, people usually put Pendulum in like C or D tier, and I just don't get it. Pendulum is not that terrible. It is not the best thing in the world anymore, but there are individual pieces of Pendulum that are quite strong. I have yet to learn what Pen does. Don't worry, you won't need to. And then we get to Link. Link is in a grade of its own, if I'm honest with you. Link was meant to slow down Yu-Gi-Oh! And it didn't fucking do that at all. Not in the slightest. Link summoning sped up Yu-Gi-Oh! Leaps and bounds. It made it so easy to summon cards. It made it incredibly beneficial to do so as well. Link summoning is so good that, imagine this. Konami got rid of the necessity to use Link monsters. And I guarantee you, if you look at every deck profile from the last YCS or the last major event, you will see at the very least 80% of top cut decks running at least one Link monster. And that is just because of how broken and powerful Links are. Just the genericness of Links in general, and their summoning conditions and their costs, is really, really helpful. And it doesn't hurt that the power of Links is very high as well. Say sour, Ada. Why? Thank you for the follow, Wild Boys.